very nice young ladies here. You like big tits or small tits? Or maybe you want someone young?
Very big muscle. Can you show me your muscle?
Hello, welcome to our RecapPlus channel with me, Matthew. Today we will watch a recap movie called Teddy Bear, released in 2012. This is a spoiler content video. So please turn on the subtitle and let's start the story. The movie centers on Dennis Peterson, a reserved 38-year-old bodybuilder with an impressive physique. Despite his muscular build, Dennis has never had a girlfriend and resides with his elderly mother, Ingrid, in a quaint town outside Copenhagen. One day, Dennis goes on a date with a woman he met at his gym. As they converse, Dennis shares that in addition to his bodybuilding pursuits, he also works as a gatekeeper. Meanwhile, the woman reveals she co-owns a tanning salon near the beach. Despite her attempts at flirtation, Dennis remains disinterested, causing the woman to become increasingly frustrated. Their date ends awkwardly, with Dennis returning home to face his possessive mother, Ingrid. Ingrid questions Dennis about his whereabouts and criticizes him for not informing her of his plans. Rather than disclose the truth, Dennis fabricates a story about going to the movies with his gym friends. It becomes evident that Ingrid's overbearing nature contributes to Dennis's difficulty in forming romantic relationships. The following day, Dennis and Ingrid visit relatives, further highlighting their codependent relationship as they share a bathroom simultaneously. At their destination, it is revealed that Dennis's uncle Bent has recently married a young woman named Aoi from Thailand. Although Dennis outwardly expresses happiness for his uncle, internally, he feels despondent about his own love life. In subsequent encounters, Dennis attempts to reconnect with his date from the gym, only to be met with indifference. Seeking solace, he spends time with Uncle Bent, who suggests that Dennis consider a trip to Thailand to explore new possibilities. Intrigued by the idea, Dennis spends the night researching Thailand online, captivated by the prospect of beautiful landscapes and welcoming people. After gathering enough information, Dennis decides to embark on a week-long vacation. The following day, he encounters his former date at the gym and, feeling slighted, retaliates by bluntly informing her that she is not his type. During dinner, Dennis broaches the topic of his upcoming trip to his mother, fabricating a story about traveling to Germany for a bodybuilding competition. Ingrid, though displeased, exits the dinner table in frustration. Over the next few days, she continues to distance herself from Dennis, refusing to bid him farewell before his flight. In the subsequent scene, Dennis boards a flight bound for Pattaya, Thailand, where he arrives and checks into a hotel. He is taken aback when the receptionist requests advance payment for potential female escorts, a common expectation among many Western tourists. Feeling embarrassed by the receptionist's assumption, Dennis assures her that he won't be bringing any companions to his hotel room. Later, he meets Scott, a middle-aged American who runs a bar with his Thai wife. Scott shares how he introduced Uncle Bent to his own wife before delving into the specifics of what type of companion Dennis is seeking, focusing on physical attributes. Feeling flustered, Dennis simply states that he prefers someone age-appropriate. Scott assures him of finding a suitable match and invites him to return later that night. On his way back to the hotel, Dennis stops by a boutique to order a custom-made suit for himself. Attempting to reach out to his mother for support, Dennis finds no answer, leaving him frustrated and disheartened. Later that evening, his new suit arrives, and he heads to Scott's bar with optimism. There, he encounters other older Western men accompanied by young Thai women, further highlighting the common dynamic in the area. After Scott introduces Dennis to his young companion, Fat, she initiates conversation and compliments Dennis's physique, asking him to show her more. Despite the simple request, Dennis, unaccustomed to such attention, feels overwhelmed and excuses himself to the restroom. To his surprise, Fat follows him and makes advances towards him. Despite his initial hesitance, Dennis eventually agrees and brings her back to his hotel room. However, once there, Fat explicitly discusses payment for her services, revealing herself to be an escort. Enraged by the realization, Dennis rejects her advances and sends her away. The following day, Dennis decides to explore the city alone. He visits a local gym owned by a woman named Toy, where he befriends Prep, a trainer. During their conversation, Prep recognizes Dennis from a magazine and compliments him on his physique, boosting Dennis's confidence for the first time since arriving in Thailand. After politely declining Prep's invitation to dinner, Dennis opts for another visit to Scott's bar. There, Scott introduces Dennis to another woman who also engages in heavy flirting. Uncomfortable once more, Dennis leaves and joins Prep and his friends for dinner instead. During dinner, Dennis reconnects with Toy, the gym owner, and their conversation flows effortlessly, especially when discussing their shared passion for bodybuilding. Toy shares her story of taking over the gym after her husband's passing, and Dennis opens up about his own life, revealing his shyness and lack of experience in relationships. Over the next few days, Dennis and Toy develop a close friendship. Toy shows Dennis around the city and teaches him how to ride a bike. One day, at the beach, Dennis tries to kiss Toy, but she pulls away, explaining the cultural taboo against public displays of affection. Despite the momentary embarrassment, Toy invites Dennis to her house for dinner. At Toy's house, their mutual attraction intensifies, leading to a passionate makeout session. However, Dennis's shyness resurfaces, causing him to abruptly leave. As he walks away, he realizes his deep connection with Toy and returns to confess his feelings. Toy reciprocates, and they embrace, falling asleep in each other's arms without further intimacy. With plans for the future, Dennis eventually returns to Denmark, where Ingrid welcomes him home happily. After Dennis returns from his trip, he lies to Ingrid about his tan, claiming he visited a tanning salon in Germany. Later, he goes apartment hunting and settles on a place. Realizing the need for honesty, Dennis sits down with his mother to come clean about his trip and his relationship with Toy, apologizing for lying. Unsurprisingly, Ingrid becomes infuriated and kicks him out of the house. However, she calls him back the next day for a conversation. During their talk, Ingrid asks Dennis if he has been intimate with Toy, but he firmly asserts that it's none of her business. Ingrid accuses him of engaging in sex tourism and condemns his actions as gross. Despite her anger, she agrees to forgive him on the condition that he ends his relationship with Toy. After agreeing to end his relationship with Toy, Dennis secretly arranges for her to come to Denmark permanently. He welcomes her at the airport with flowers and takes her to their rented apartment. Toy is surprised, as Dennis had previously told her he lived in a suburban house with his mother. Dennis lies, claiming it's a temporary arrangement, and changes the subject, presenting her with a beautiful necklace as a welcome gift. He then informs Toy that his mother has been hospitalized due to a heart problem, explaining his absence for the night, and expresses his reluctance to introduce her to his mother due to her weak physical and mental state. The following day, Dennis takes Toy to a shopping mall to buy her some new clothes. While there, he notices his mother in the distance. Dennis tries to leave with Toy, but Ingrid sees them and approaches. Dennis introduces Toy as Bert's sister-in-law from Thailand, attempting to defuse the situation. After Toy's innocent inquiry about Ingrid's health, Ingrid becomes perplexed and questions what's happening. Dennis avoids responding and attempts to leave, but Ingrid follows and confronts him for lying once more. Despite her insistence, Dennis brushes her aside and walks away, leaving Toy shocked by her mother's rude behavior. She questions Dennis about his secrecy, and he finally explains everything to her in the car before dropping her off at the apartment. Returning home, Dennis finds Ingrid sitting at the table with an injured hand, and their room ransacked. Forced to confront the situation, Dennis talks with Ingrid, who accuses him of mirroring his father's behavior. Dennis reveals his determination to be with Toy, despite Ingrid's attempts at emotional blackmail. He resolves to become independent and strong, dressing Ingrid's wounds and packing her belongings. As Dennis hugs and kisses his mother goodbye, she pleads with him to stay, but he insists they will meet again soon. The movie ends as Dennis gets into his car with Toy and drives to their new home, symbolizing his commitment to a new beginning with Toy. To watch more video like this, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last I will say stay safe and stay healthy. See you next videos.